In this video, we talk about Franky. Super! Franky is one of the more entertaining characters, in my opinion. He's fun, he jokes around, he shows his emotions a lot despite being so manly and being built like a tank. He almost killed Usopp when Usopp got a higher bounty than he did after the Dressrosa arc. I just love how Frankie acts because it's so weird. It draws me in like a magnet. It's funny, but I believe that Frankie is the fourth strongest Straw Hat next to Jinbei, despite the differences in the bounty of the crew. But anyway, let's get right into it. Frankie was last seen with Brook, and they were supposed to go to the back of Onigashima to meet up with Usopp and Chopper and park both the Kurosai and the Brachio tank there. Since Usopp and Chopper are going to the activity hall to help out right now, I think that Frankie would do the same after a while. Because Brook could do some scouting and find out what's happening in the island, or they wouldn't need to scout anything because they already saw Kaido bust out of Onigashima through the skull. Either way, they should have a good idea about what's happening around the island. So I'm already assuming that they're headed to the hall as well the next time we see them. And hopefully, Frankie and Brooke use the Kurosai on the way there so that we have a chance to see the General Frankie again. Maybe the General Frankie could take on Jack or Queen for a bit. I believe that would be fun and would be a great thing to see. I'm sure that Jack and Queen can handle it, but I want to see so I could get an estimate of just how strong the General Frankie is. It's possible that Frankie might not play the biggest role in the rescue of Momonosuke, but he should be a great help for clearing gifters, headliners, and taking on the Tobiropo level characters. And as for Frankie's matchups, I think that it would be safe to assume that he'll match up with a Tobiropo member. I think that a match with Page 1 is highly possible. They are both strong and durable. Although Page 1 took on Raid Suit Sanji's kicks like a champ, it seemed like nothing to Page 1, or at least it seems that way, with how he shrugged it off and was looking to finish the fight with Sanji. So, if Frankie matches up with Page 1, it should be an interesting fight nonetheless, and Frankie would have his hands full, and he would surely have to reach super deep, no, no, super deep inside his bag of tricks just to win it. And Frankie could also match up with Drake. Seeing how similar Drake and Page 1 are in terms of abilities, it should be a great matchup for Frankie. But I do believe that Drake is almost a Yonko Commander level character, so Frankie would have his hands full against Drake, even if it's just for a little bit, because I think that Drake infiltrated Kaido's crew to get information and possibly help capture Kaido. So I do think that Drake would rebel at some point just to help overthrow Kaido and dissolve the Yonko alliance effectively. It would be great to see Frankie fight either one of those characters, and it would be a bigger challenge than what we had against Senor Pink because they fought evenly. So I'm expecting this fight to really challenge Frankie. Personally, I want him to fight with Drake more than anything, even just for a little bit before he goes off and tries to handle page 1, because I believe that Frankie could do that if and when he gets his power ups for the Wano arc. These power ups would be Armament Hockey, of course, and maybe a Sea Stone infusion into his Wapo Metal armor. But let's talk about it though. I believe that the Sea Stone infusion on his Wapo Metal armor would be a great addition to the arsenal of weapons that Frankie already has, even if it's just on his arms and feet, because he can fight with Devil Fruit users much better, and he can hit Logia types that are immune to the lasers that he shoots out and lock them up with his big hands. He could easily deal with the likes of Caribou without worries, and it should make his Swapo Metal armor much more sturdier. You might think that it's a useless power if he gets armament hockey, and That might seem like the case, but the effects of Haki are different from the Sea Stone. Sea Stone can weaken the Devil Fruit user because of the properties of Kairoseki, making the Devil Fruit user feel the effects of falling into the sea, while Haki lets you hit these Devil Fruit users much harder and more effectively, especially if your Haki is stronger than your opponent's Haki. And since we've learned that Haki can be depleted when used in battle, the Sea Stone infusion might come in handy so that Franky doesn't rely too much on Haki. Because if he does get armament Haki, he could master it to the point that he could turn all black, just like Virgo and Pika did. I'm hyped up to see that, as well as an all black General Franky. And if he does learn Haki, I'm pretty sure that Franky could go on to defeat Page 1 and maybe, just maybe, Drake. We could also see him go toe to toe with an Admiral level character or a Yonko Commander level characters briefly, and he won't get owned easily. He should be able to put up a decent fight against those level of characters, and I'm really, really excited for it. I feel like Ryuo on Frankie is overpowered already, but very much welcome. I have my fingers crossed on this one. And for observation hockey, I think that it's possible for Frankie, but I'm inclined to think that if Frankie does learn it, it's not going to be in Wano. It should be much later in the story because I doubt he learns both Kenbun Shoku and Buso Shoku in Wano. So after the war in Wano, I feel like Frankie would have an increase of bounty ranging from 500 million to about 800 million belly easily. So personally, I think it's going to be about 700 million belly because I think that Frankie will be able to manage to defeat Vice Admiral level characters after Wano pretty easily and much better than when he dealt with Bastille back in Dressrosa. So he should be able to handle Admiral level characters in this state, but I don't think he would be able to defeat them. I know that the estimates are pretty big numbers, but I still feel the same way about it since when I made the first bounty video back in July. I'll put the link in the description below if you guys want to check that out. But moving forward though, just like most of the people in the crew, Frankie's dream will be achieved once they reach Laugh-Tale. And I say most because not all of them would achieve their goal in Laugh-Tale, like Usopp and Brook and probably Chopper as well. Although technically the crew would need to go back to Water 7 for the Sunny to have sailed across all over the world. But because of the rumor that One Piece has now a rough estimate of when it would end, I don't think that we would see the crew sail back to Water 7 and see the floating mechanism that Iceberg was designing or developing that back then. So I don't think we will see it finished, which is a shame, really. I was imagining that Frankie could go and help in the construction of this floating system, or maybe go on to build a railway that connects more islands in the Grand Line so that he could surpass his mentor, Tom. But anyway, for Frankie's last battle, I think that a fight with Vice Admirals are the best guess. I assuming that the last fight would be against the Marines. Someone like Stainless or Maynard seem ideal, but I would rather see Frankie fight with Burgess, Jesus Burgess, when the Straw Hats do take on the Blackbeard Pirates. I just feel like it's going to be the best matchup for Frankie in all of the One Piece world. Both are built like mountains, they have armor. Burgess has the weird propulsion system to make his elbows stronger. Frankie has his lasers and Wapo metal. I just think it's a great fight overall between those two. I think that's all fine and good. Although, I would much rather see Frankie add another vehicle to the Sunny's Soldier Dock system. I would like to see a flying machine. I think it would be a nice twist. Yes, it's unnecessary, but a man can dream, right? But that's all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Crush like if you did, just like how Frankie crushed his pants. Super! Comment down below what you think Frankie's power up will be and If you love One Piece, subscribe to the channel so it could grow. Hit the notifications button because on the next video, we will talk about Brook. So, as always, stay safe. Peace. Super.